All right, let's jump right into it. Today, we're tackling a massive, universal problem, one that's probably frustrated you more times than you can even count. You know the feeling, right? The absolute thrill of starting a brand new project, that rush of fresh ideas, followed by the crushing reality of never actually finishing it.
I mean, be honest with yourself here. Have you ever jumped into a new hobby or maybe a home improvement task with just undeniable excitement, only to completely abandon the whole thing a few weeks later? If your closet is literally stuffed with half-read books or your desktop is full of half-written documents, hey, you're not alone. We call this shiny object syndrome, and honestly, it's a trap almost all of us fall into. Okay, let's dive into this explainer and figure out exactly how we can finally break that cycle. Section 1. The Curse of Unfinished Projects. To really understand why we do this to ourselves, and more importantly, how to actually stop, we're going to look at the story of a talented 28-year-old carpenter named Marcus. Now, Marcus had incredible hands and brilliant ideas, but his daily reality, well, it was kind of bleak. His workshop wasn't a place of triumph. It was more like a graveyard of half-finished dreams. We're talking a chair with only 3 legs, a table missing its top, a cabinet with literally no doors. And every single time his neighbors would ask, "Hey Marcus, when's that piece gonna be ready?" he'd just nervously smile and say, "Oh, soon, I just need to, work on this other thing first." The emotional weight of this was just staggering. You can imagine the deep shame and guilt as these broken promises kept piling up around him. It was like he had an actual addiction to starting over. But then, out of nowhere, Marcus gets the absolute opportunity of a lifetime. The mayor's daughter is getting married, and she commissions him to build this beautiful, hand-carved wooden chest for her husband. The pay is incredible, but there's a catch. A strict, non-negotiable deadline. He has exactly 3 months to complete it. 3 months! Marcus is ecstatic. He's telling himself, this is it. This is the big one that changes everything. And for the first 2 weeks, he works with absolute fiery passion. The chest is shaping up to be a total masterpiece. And then, it happens. The fatal distraction. While flipping through a book one day, Marcus spots a design for a simple wooden jewelry box, and that familiar little voice whispers to him, "Hey, just this one small thing, it'll be so quick, you have plenty of time for the chest, right?" So he pauses the big project to just quickly knock out the small one. But then, a medium project catches his eye. Then another one. His focus just completely scatters in a dozen different directions. And before he even realizes it, poof, those 3 months have completely vanished. The wedding day arrives, and the chest is just sitting there in the corner, missing its lid, missing its lock, and half of its carvings. The mayor's daughter obviously has to hire someone else. Marcus loses the money, he loses his reputation, and honestly, worst of all, he loses his self-respect. Which brings us to Section 2, the master's simple secret. Sitting there on the floor of his incredibly messy workshop, crying over his repeated failures, Marcus finally hits rock bottom. He seeks out an old master carpenter on the edge of the village named Samuel. Marcus realizes he is so tired of being the guy who almost did something great. So, hoping to learn the master's secret, he steps into Samuel's workshop and, wow, the contrast is just completely jarring. I mean, look at these 2 different mindsets. Marcus operates in total chaos, right? Cluttered, filled with unfinished stuff, driven entirely by fleeting bursts of motivation. But Samuel's workshop? It's small, it's impeccably clean, and it's highly organized. Every single tool has its exact perfect place. Samuel's environment is quite literally the physical manifestation of discipline and commitment. Marcus basically breaks down. He asks Samuel how on earth he manages to finish everything so perfectly. Now, Samuel is a man of very few words, so he doesn't give him a big lecture. Instead, he just picks up a block of wood and a knife, and he slowly begins to carve. And he says this, "Inside this wood is a spoon, but right now, the spoon is trapped. My job is to remove everything that is not the spoon." He tells Marcus that if he stops after just one layer, well, it's just a piece of damaged wood. You see, a finished piece isn't created by some sudden flash of inspiration. It's revealed patiently, layer by layer, shaving by shaving, until it finally emerges. That brings us to Section 3, escaping the messy middle. Samuel's spoon carving metaphor leads us directly into the core psychological trap of why we actually abandon our projects. And the crucial point here is understanding the harsh reality of what we call the messy middle. Think about it. The beginning of a project, wild and exciting. The end of a project brings this huge rush of pride and satisfaction. But the middle? Oh, the middle is the wilderness. It's hard, it's boring, and it is so frustrating. It's that phase where the initial excitement fades, you start doubting your abilities, and suddenly, surprise, surprise, new ideas look incredibly tempting. Master Samuel tells Marcus that this specific phase is literally where dreams go to die. So, if you've quit projects in the past, take a breath. You didn't fail because you lacked talent, you just hit the messy middle, exactly like every single other person does. And here is probably the absolute heaviest hitting realization of this entire explainer. Samuel looks at him and says, finishing is not about motivation. Motivation fades. Finishing is about commitment to the process. I mean, think about it like this. Motivation is a lot like the weather. It comes and goes. If you rely on it, you're only going to work on sunny days. But commitment? Commitment is showing up even when it's pouring rain outside, even when the work is incredibly tedious, and especially even when a shiny new idea is screaming your name.
To really prove this point, Samuel gives Marcus a very specific, almost ridiculously simple challenge. He tells him to go back to his chaotic mess of a workshop, pick the absolute smallest, simplest, unfinished project he has, and make one promise. Touch it every single day for just 10 minutes. That's it. Even if it's boring, even if he absolutely doesn't feel like it, just 10 minutes a day until the thing is complete.
So let's see how this actually plays out. Marcus goes home, he picks a little wooden stool, and he sets to work. Day 1, he puts in his 10 minutes without making excuses. It's not glamorous at all, but he does it. Fast forward to day 5. A brilliant new idea for a mirror frame tempts him, but he remembers his promise, honors the commitment, and touches the stool instead. And then by day 12, something almost magical happens. The momentum actually shifts. Instead of feeling that heavy shame of starting over yet again, he starts feeling this deep pride of just continuing. And boom, by day 23, the wooden stool is perfectly complete. He sits on it. It actually holds his weight. He finally proved to himself that he wasn't permanently broken. He just had to learn the actual skill of finishing. And the compound effect of this simple rule, it's just staggering. Marcus applies that 10-minute rule to a second project and then a third. 6 months later, his workshop has completely transformed from a total graveyard into a beautiful showroom. He's totally rebuilt his reputation. In fact, get this, the mayor's daughter actually comes back. She asks if he can build that exact same chest for her wedding anniversary. And this time, Marcus looks her right in the eye and confidently says yes. Because he had spent 6 months building up that commitment muscle, he delivers an absolutely magnificent, completed masterpiece. Section 4, your blueprint for finishing. Now, Marcus's story is a really incredible fable, but let's be real, it is deeply relevant to us today. Because we all have our own versions of that chaotic woodworking shop, don't we? So let's pivot and look at how we can actually apply Marcus's transformation to our modern lives. I want you to burn this quote into your memory. Done is better than perfect. Action beats intention every single time. Listen, the world does not reward people who have 10 brilliant but half-executed ideas. The world rewards the people who actually complete things. A simple, finished project holds vastly more value than some flawless, perfect plan that never even sees the light of day. So let's distill all of this down into a really concrete framework. 3 simple rules you can take away from this explainer today to become a finisher yourself. Rule number 1, embrace the messy middle. Just expect it to get boring and hard. And when it does, recognize that feeling not as a red flag to quit, but as a literal sign that you are on the right path to completion. Rule number 2, finished beats perfect. Just get it done, get it out there. And rule number 3, honestly, the most important one of the whole shebang, touch it daily, because consistency is going to defeat motivation every single time. So I want to leave you with a direct challenge right now. Take a look around your life. Find those half-read books, the abandoned fitness goals, the neglected side hustles. I want you to pick just one, literally the smallest, simplest one you can find, and commit right now to touching it for just 10 minutes a day for the next 30 days. Because the second you finish that one thing, you prove to yourself that you are a finisher. And let me tell you, that changes absolutely everything. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there, stop starting new things, and start finishing.